Hello and welcome to this special live transmission regarding the 23rd meeting of the Council of the Heads of the Government that is being held here in Islamabad on 15th and 16th of October. And before heading towards the special live transmission, here we have got breaking news. The news just in. Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif meets with the Prime Minister of Kazakhstan, Mr. Olshaz Bektinov. And during this particular meeting, Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif and the Kazakhstan's Prime Minister discussed a wide range of issues of mutual interest. Welcoming Kazakhstan's participation at the SCO Council of the Heads of the Government meeting, Prime Minister reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to work with all SCO countries in advancing SCO's principles and purposes. In this regard, Prime Minister recalled his visit to Astana in July early this year for the SCO Council of Heads of State meeting and appreciated Kazakhstan's contributions to strengthening cooperation among SCO countries. Noting the warm and excellent bilateral relations between the two countries, the Prime Minister emphasized the need to enhance trade and investment, while also focusing on regional connectivity and security. To achieve this shared objective, the Prime Minister emphasized the need to maintain regular and high-level contacts, including through institutional mechanisms of bilateral engagement. The Prime Minister stressed to convene the meetings of the joint working groups on trade and agriculture at the earliest. The Prime Minister of Kazakhstan congratulated Prime Minister on the successful organization of the SCO summit in Pakistan and lauded Pakistan's positive role as the SCO chair. He reiterated Kazakhstan's firm resolve to work closely with Pakistan, both as part of the SCO and bilaterally, to enhance regional connectivity, trade and development. He further said that Kazakhstan saw Pakistan as a leading trade partner in South Asia. Both sides agreed to jointly work to realize the true trade potential between the two countries. And now you can also see the live visuals on your TV screens as Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is personally welcoming and receiving the foreign dignitaries at the formal dinner being hosted in the honor of the foreign dignitaries who have arrived throughout the day, and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is going to host this particular dinner in the honor of these dignitaries from the member countries of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. These were the live visuals coming on your TV screens. A formal dinner will be held and hosted by Prime Minister in the honor of the foreign dignitaries. We've got the schedule for tomorrow also. Tomorrow at the Jinnah Convention Center, these foreign dignitaries are going to assemble. And of course, Prime Minister, being the president of this 23rd meeting of the Council of the Heads of the Government of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, is going to welcome the foreign dignitaries over there as well, after which we'll be seeing a group photo of all these dignitaries. Then the proceedings of the conference will be commenced with the opening remarks by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, of course, and later on we'll be seeing the statements of the Prime Ministers as well as the high-ranking officials who are representing their respective countries in this 23rd meeting of the Council of Heads of Government of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. After those statements by those leaders, we'll be seeing the documents being signed during that particular high-level mood. Well, at the end of that particular session, we'll be seeing the concluding remarks by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Later on, we'll also be seeing the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Pakistan and the Secretary General of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization giving the media statements. Afterwards, we will see Pakistan is hosting this high-level 23rd meeting of the Council of the Heads of the Government here in Islamabad. And as you can see, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and his team have carried out a remarkable work in order to ensure that this particular high-level mood goes smooth. And we have also seen Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif present over there to host this formal dinner for the foreign dignitaries of the member countries, the observer states, also the dialogue partners of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the second highest level forum of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, hosted in the honor of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's member countries, the dialogue partners, and the observer states. We have also known for a fact that prime ministers of the leading member states from Russia, China, Belarus, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan have also already arrived over here. While when we specifically talk about Iran, the first vice president of Iran has come over here to represent his country in this particular high-level mood. A significant milestone in this particular week of October, 15th and 16th of October 2024, will go in the annals of history when Pakistani authorities been successfully able to host this particular conference in the federal capital Islamabad, and also to discuss this landmark particular high-level moot, Dr. Munawar Hussain, Foreign Affairs expert, has joined us. Dr. Hussain, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on this particular live transmission regarding this particular high-level moot. As we speak, the Prime Minister is personally receiving the foreign dignitaries over there for the formal dinner of this high-level moot. So, regarding Shanghai Cooperation Organization, let's start with the Shanghai spirit. There are two different dimensions: internal dimension of the Shanghai spirit and also the external dimension of the. Let's talk specifically about the first. What are the main pillars of the first, the internal dimension of the Shanghai spirit?
Thank you very much for having me in the show. Very, very important event, a significant event. In fact, Pakistan is in the limelight of international media, and Pakistan was in the limelight of international media because Pakistan was the center of diplomacy. We observed the visit of Malaysian Prime Minister, the Saudi delegation, and now SCO summit. As far as its spirit is concerned, I think this organization is based on mutual cooperation, because this is the mutual cooperation that
Dr. Hussain, I seek your pardon for the interjection over here. We'll have to go to the breaking news. Another foreign dignitary has arrived at the venue for this formal dinner being hosted by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, and he's welcoming and receiving the foreign dignitaries for this particular formal dinner. In the lead up to that particular 23rd meeting of the heads of the Council of the Heads of the Government of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Prime Minister is standing over there to welcome. A red carpet welcome is being given to the foreign dignitaries of the member countries, the observer states, as well as the dialogue partners of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Dr. Hussain, please go ahead. Please continue from where you left.
I was saying that the internal spirit of SCO is to have a mutual win-win situation. They are talking about the relevant gains, not the mutual gains. Mutual gains, talking about the mutual gains, not the absolute gains. And I believe that this organization is breaking up the structural imperialism by developing harmony of interest among the member nations. And we know that in this world, there are serious issues which one nation cannot tackle. So therefore, coordination and cooperation is quite essential.
Once again, another foreign dignitary has arrived. I will have to include the breaking stories also. Dr. Hussain, I seek your pardon. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is hosting this formal dinner in the honor of the foreign dignitaries, of the prime ministers and the high-ranking officials and the delegates of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which have arrived today. Throughout the arrivals continued, and Prime Minister is warmly welcoming and receiving the foreign dignitaries for this particular formal dinner being hosted in the honor of the foreign dignitaries, the prime ministers, the high-ranking officials of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This is the first day of the 23rd meeting of the Council of the Heads of the Government here in Pakistan. The federal capital, Islamabad, that has been spectacularly adorned throughout. Another foreign dignitary has just arrived, and as you can see, the smiles all over there. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif welcoming these dignitaries here for this particular formal dinner. Throughout the day, we saw the arrivals happening. Prime Ministers of Russia, China, Belarus, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and the first Vice President of Iran. Also, the Indian External Affairs Minister arrives over here to participate in this particular high-level meeting. Dr. Hussain, please go ahead.
Since you are talking about this smiling faces, and this is very important feature of our culture, we always show hospitality to our guests. I mean, this is a happy moment for us, and we know that we are living in a multipolar world where these intergovernmental organizations are playing very important role, especially SEO, because this is the SEO which is dealing with the regional issues, whether they belong to politics or economy or trade or inflation or security, all type of issues. And therefore we believe that this organization has adopted a new functionalist approach, and this approach is very, very important in a sense that the functionalist approach has made some organization to go into a dormant phase like SARC. So this is the reason that this organization is providing such a platform where the peripheral nations or the member nations, they come get together, the confidence level goes up, and the gap of communication eliminated, and they discuss the regional issues, and at the sidelines the bilateral issues as well. And I remember in the past when Shashma Swaraj Sahiba came in Pakistan, initially Indian media claimed that there would be no
The moment I will have to interrupt you once again. Another foreign dignitary has arrived. This particular continuous of arrivals will be happening, and during the course of our discussions we'll definitely have to go and also show those visuals to the viewers as Prime Minister is standing over there to receive these particular guests as they are arriving at the venue for this formal dinner. Dr. Hussain will continue with this particular discussion. For that, please stay with us. For now, for our viewers, another foreign dignitary has arrived. This is the formal dinner. In a short while will be happening, and the foreign dignitary is arriving at the venue. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is personally there to welcome and receive these particular guests. Dr. Hussain, please continue.
So I was talking about the relationship between India and Pakistan. I remember on such a platform, late Shashma Swaraj Sahiba, she paid visit to Pakistan, and initially Indian media claimed that there would be no bilateral talks, but later on we came to know that in the sideline there was a meeting. Similarly, in 2003 and 4, we observed when late Vajpayee Saab paid visit to Pakistan during the Musharraf regime here. And again, Indian media claimed that there would be no bilateral talks, but on the sideline, there was a very significant negotiations, and that negotiations paved the way for normalization between India and Pakistan. So similarly, if we take the example of Belarus, which has a specialization on a tractor manufacturing, and Pakistan is an agricultural country, and agriculture plays, it is like a backbone of Pakistan's economy. So that bilateral relationship would also be very, very important. And similarly with China, which is our strategic partner, because of Karachi event, there might be some grievances, but this is the platform again where the relation should be, the relationship would get more warm, and the confidence would be go up. So therefore, I mean, such meetings and platform are very important at the state level as well as at regional level, because we are observing realignment at the regional level, and many regional countries, especially the member nations of South Asia, they want regionalism more active, and they are very despair. They are desperate to get the cooperation at regional level. And because of the dormant phase of SARC, and because of BEMSTIC, which failed to develop a cooperation, our Colombo conclave also failed to develop a cooperation. I think the SEO is a good platform. It would have a positive spillover effect on region to initiate a cooperation, and all regional nations, including Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, they are looking towards Pakistan and China for their cooperation. And similarly, at the global level, we are observing...
Dr. Hussain, this particular term, the positive spillover effect, it sounds so good to the ears. It sounds so good to the ears, the positive spillover effect. I'll come to this particular part of your particular take. Already you talked about the new functionalist approach. and also talked about that there is lesser room for lack of communication, meaning there is a huge room of the enhanced communication within the framework of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. You also talked about the realignment, also talking about including those countries and the states which are at the peripheries. Now, new functionalist approach, I just want you to shed a bit of light to make it simpler for our viewers. How does that actually operate?
Because functionalism believes, first of all, we need to understand what is functionalism. Functionalism, which is the approach adopted by SAG, the functionalism says that we would not discuss the political issues, security issues, only we would discuss the economic cooperation. And this is the reason that we are observing SARC is in a dormant phase, and little bit it is also affected the ASEAN. But this new functionalist approach includes all problems, all issues.
Come to you for a detailed discussion on this particular point. Another foreign dignitary has arrived here at the venue of the formal dinner being hosted in the honor of the foreign dignitaries, the prime ministers and the high-ranking officials of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's member states, the observer states, as well as the dialogue partners. The smiles all over the place. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif warmly receiving and welcoming all these foreign dignitaries from Russia, China, Belarus, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Iran, India, and other observer and states and dialogue partners. This continues, the arrival of these guests continues, and Prime Minister is personally receiving all these foreign dignitaries at the venue of the formal dinner. Dr. Hussain, please continue. The functionalist, a new functionalist approach of the SCO.
Yes, neo-functionalism believes that we won't be able to have economic cooperation and progress in trade and investment without resolving political and social issues. So this is the reason that if you see the charter of the SCO, it encompasses the regional political issues, the security issues, the social issues, because you do not need only the economic security, but economic security cannot be achieved without the political security, without the social security, because you need stability for the economic progress. This is like the difference between Marxism and neo-Marxism. Marxists, they believe it is the mode of production which is very, very important, and it shapes up the prevalent condition of a nation or a group of people. While neo-Marxists, they believe that we cannot ignore the superstructure. And when we say superstructure, it means the culture, the society, the norms, the values, which also shapes up the very important environment of an individual. So this platform has adopted this neo-functionalist approach, but at the same time, this is very important development, because in the past, we were looking towards the global north, because they were very organized in terms of NATO, in terms of European Union. They have G7, they have G20, but the global south was not represented properly, and their issues were not properly discussed. So this organization is representing the global south, and therefore the issues of global south, whether these issues belong to economy or politics or society or climate change or poverty, these issues are on the surface, and how these issues can be tackled. So,
Hussain, thank you very much for being with us on this special live transmission. I'll have to go once again towards the breaking news. The Chinese Premier, Mr. Li Qiang, is here at the venue. We also know that yesterday he started his bilateral visit for 4 days here in Pakistan. Look at the smiles, the gestures, the kind of warmth this particular relationship between Pakistan and China manifests to the entire world. This ironclad brotherhood of this particular bilateral relationship between Pakistan and China, higher than Himalayas, deeper than the oceans, sweeter than honey, and stronger than steel, all weather strategic cooperative partnership between Pakistan and China. We have also seen Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif personally welcoming all the foreign dignitaries of the member countries of the observer states, as well as the dialogue partners of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, for this formal dinner. At the end, the last visiting dignitary, the Chinese Premier Li Qiang, who was here on a 4-day bilateral visit, also has arrived at the venue. There will be a formal dinner in the honor of these foreign dignitaries of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the high-ranking officials, the prime ministers, as well as other delegates who have arrived here in Pakistan for this high-level moot of the 23rd meeting of the Council of the Heads of the Government is taking place here in Pakistan. Chinese Premier Li Qiang is here in Pakistan, being the first Premier of China visiting Pakistan after 11 years after Prime Minister Li Keqiang back in 2013. The smiles, the kind of warmth that we can witness with the gestures, with the smiles, with the kind of warmth being exhibited and reciprocated towards each other by the foreign Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Premier Li Qiang speaks volumes about this ironclad brotherhood that has stood the test of time, with China and Pakistan have the convergence of views on multiple international and regional issues. China, Pakistan being the two key members of this Shanghai Cooperation Organization have that purpose and the objective towards the multilateralism, towards good neighborliness, and towards regional integration in terms of ensuring the security in the region, in terms of enhancing the connectivity, reaping the dividends from that connectivity, also eyeing that enhancement in trade and investment, also making the lives of the people of this particular region better. Let's bring in another esteemed guest who is joining us for this special live transmission, Mr. Johar Salim, a former Foreign Secretary of Pakistan, currently serving as the President of Institute of Regional Studies here in Islamabad. Ambassador Salim, thank you very much for your time, for being the part of this special live transmission. We really appreciate that. As we speak, the Prime Minister has received and warmly welcomed the foreign dignitaries of the members and the observer states, as well as the dialogue partners of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. How bigger an achievement do you think Pakistan hosting smoothly this particular 23rd meeting of the Council of the Heads of the Government of SCO?
Yes, thank you. This is the first time that Pakistan is holding a summit-level meeting of SCO, which is a very important organization, involving 40% of the world population in terms of its members and 1/3 of the world economy. So in that way, and there are 10 members of SCO, and all these countries are participating in this summit-level conference. There are two summit-level conferences that take place in a year for SCO. One is the Heads of State level summit, which took place in July in Astana, and the other is the Head of Government level summit, which is taking place in Islamabad now. So it is a momentous occasion. It provides a great opportunity for discussions amongst these leaders of very important countries on a range of issues of common interest. And all these countries are keen to build greater cooperation in the areas of security, anti-terrorism, connectivity, trade, climate change issues or climate change resilience, and then in terms of socio-cultural cooperation. And also, this opportunity provides them a platform to discuss the world developments, the international developments taking place right now, some of which are not very auspicious, as we know. And for instance, what is happening in Gaza, what is happening in Lebanon, what is happening between Iran and Israel. And Iran, as we know, is a member of SCO. So at this critical juncture in terms of the global situation, this meeting taking place will not only provide the member countries an opportunity to discuss the issues common to within the framework of SCO as per the agenda set, but also review the global developments and perhaps come up with a common language in the joint communique.
Right, Ambassador Salim, you talked of the major developments that are happening globally, worldwide. You also talked about the kind of situation over there in Gaza, as well as the kind of situation over here in Asia as far as the Ukraine conflict is concerned. So, regarding SEO, is there any sort of a mechanism that these sort of issues, these developments of such a scale could also be deliberated upon? Is there anything that could be put forth to the global community regarding as to the understanding of the member countries within the SCO framework?
Yes, in these type of conferences, these multilateral platforms, what happens is that first, all the deliberations take place, whereby the member countries they discuss and exchange views, and of course, these are.
Now, these are the visuals on your TV screens. The Mongolian Prime Minister Oyun Ordin has arrived here in Pakistan. As you can see, these visuals coming on your TV screens, the live visuals coming on your TV screens. The Mongolian Prime Minister Oyun Ordin, State Minister Ali Parvez Malik has received the Mongolian Prime Minister on his arrival here in Pakistan. These are the live visuals coming on your TV screens. As you can see, the Mongolian Prime Minister Oyun Ordin has been received by the State Minister Ali Parvez Malik on his arrival here in Pakistan. Going back to the discussion, Ambassador Salim, please continue.
Yeah, Mongolia is an observer state. And besides the member countries, the 10 member countries, the dialogue partners and the leaders of the observer states, they also take part in such summits. In the past, we saw in Astana, we saw some very important dialogue partners being part of the deliberations there. For instance, President Tayyip Erdogan was there, the Emir of Qatar was there, and many others. So I think that in further enhances the global footprint of this particular organization. But at the core of it, what is it about? It's about promoting certain values, the values in terms of the Shanghai spirit, which is what? Which is mutual respect, mutual benefit, equality, working together for development, and sort of, and a world order where might is not right, which works on the basis of principles, where there's mutual coexistence, where there's cooperation rather than conflict, where there's collaboration, and where all countries work together as equal partners for a common and better future. So that is the alternate view. That is the in which SCO countries are presenting, because we see that today that in the international order that we have, there are many challenges. For instance, the United Nations system is not working as well as it was meant to be. Its mechanisms for conflict prevention and conflict resolution are not working at all. They have totally failed in terms of resolving many crises that we know over the years, but also in recent terms, in the Gaza conflict, for instance, there was a very, very unfortunate stalemate which has been there and which has resulted in such huge devastation. But despite that, United Nations could accomplish nothing. So that is why SCO, as an alternate forum, of countries which are keen to see a more multipolar world, which are keen to see a world where there's more equality, where there's better respect for international law, they have come together, and they also want to promote linkages of trade and connectivity and investment and shared economic opportunities amongst them. And Pakistan, as we know, is very keen to build on connectivity. We want to be a connector amongst these four regions which are represented in SCO, which is South Asia, East Asia, then West Asia and Eurasia. And these are very important regions. As you know, Eurasia spans big parts of Europe and Asia. Then East Asia countries like China, like, the second biggest economy and one of the most populous countries in the world. Then South Asia, 1/4 of the global population, and so on. Central Asia, again, countries which are landlocked but very rich in mineral resources and hydrocarbon resources. So I think there's great potential for connectivity. And Pakistan is located on the confluence of all these regions. So we could be the hub, like in terms of east-west connectivity and north-south connectivity, providing these landlocked countries in Central Asia a port like Gwadar, which would be the biggest deep sea port in the region, and because it has the potential for that, a natural deep sea port. Then again, Western China, which is again landlocked. So Pakistan can link Western China with the Arabian Sea, and we all know that in Arabian Sea we have those Strait of Hormuz and all those some of the busiest shipping routes of the world, whereby 40 to 50% of the global energy and global trade passes through there. So I think that way there's an opportunity for Pakistan to showcase its potential and its promise and try to build more economic linkages.
Right, Ambassador Salim, now you already talked of the United Nations being unable or failed to resolve the major crises the world has seen in the recent past. As an alternate organization, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as per your understanding in your earlier view, do we understand as far as the comparison of the scale, the size of the two organizations is concerned, with 193 members of the United Nations, but the Shanghai Cooperation Organization just having 10 members at the moment, but we see that expansion happening. More and more members are coming in. They are joining this particular regional forum. If we compare the scale and the size of it, how do you look at that?
Yeah, I don't see it as a substitute to the United Nations in any way. I'd rather see it as an alternate worldview, because the last joint communique of SCO that's called the Astana Declaration, for instance, talks about a new international relations order, a new financial architecture order for the world. And what they see is not a new United Nations or in any way to substitute the United Nations, but rather to reform the United Nations in a way that it becomes a more efficient and a more effective organization. Because presently what we have is a United Nations which has almost become dysfunctional. So that is what SCO's vision is amongst, in this particular area.
I got your point well. Unfortunately, we're short of time. I'll have to go quickly towards another important point. I want you to elaborate on that one also, please. You already talked of the NATO as well as the European Union. Our earlier guest also talked about that, those regional forums. When we talk about an earlier guest was of the view that this particular organization, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, is representative of the global South. As per your understanding, Ambassador Salim, when we try to compare SCO with the European Union and NATO, what are the major differences and how this particular regional forum makes itself unique from those?
Yeah, these are very different organizations.
Are there any commonalities as well?
Sure. For instance, NATO is a defense pact, and it is basically meant against a certain threat emanating from we know who. As per the European perspective or the American perspective. On the other hand, EU is a totally economic-focused organization, which is basically a regional integration organization. SCO is neither of them. But at the same time, SCO is some sort of a hybrid organization, which is not as close-knit, it is more loosely knit.
Point is well taken. Unfortunately, I'll have to interrupt you over here. I really seek your pardon for the interjection over here. Mr. Johar Salim, a former Foreign Secretary of Pakistan President at the Institute of Regional Studies in Islamabad, thank you very much for your insightful discussion and taking time out for this special live transmission at PTV World regarding this 23rd meeting of the Council of the Heads of the Government that is taking place here in the federal capital, Islamabad, on 15th and 16th. And a short while ago, we have seen Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif personally receiving and welcoming all the foreign dignitaries at the formal dinner. This particular live transmission will continue. For now, it's goodbye.